This place on an elevation used to be a residential section. We called it the Hill of Death. It was densely crowded with small wooden houses which were completely destroyed. Only broken tiles and battered pieces of concrete walls remain. This section swarmed with tiny workshops. Only parts of wrecked machine tools were left in the wake of the devastation. Contrary to expectations, many of the steel poles for trolley wires were not blown down in this area. Some were bent in the direction of the blast. But as we proceeded further away from the epicenter, we found them bent or blown flat on the ground. The body of this tramcar, made of wood, was completely destroyed by the blast from overhead, but did not catch fire. The same was the case with this one. This one was blown off the rail and completely burned. All the passengers were killed instantly. These rails were twisted when this railway bridge was struck by the blast which came from the right side above. The girder on one side was thrown out of place by more than 1 meter. The penitentiary, 300 meters from the epicenter. The wooden buildings and reinforced concrete walls were destroyed, and over 140 persons, including the inmates, the prison staff, and their families, were instantly killed. Powerful heat melted the surface of the tiles. The Shiroyama Primary School, 500 meters from the epicenter. The roadway trees below the school were broken at their base. All the parts of this reinforced concrete building which faced the blast were completely demolished. The interior was burned. The entire building is cracked on the side facing the blast. Parts of the ceiling on the top floor were blown down or blown up. All wooden construction within a radius of 1,000 meters from the epicenter were completely demolished and burned, and most of the human beings and animals were killed instantly. Most of the steel poles for trolley wires were bent. Some were broken or blown down. Grass and underbrush on the hills in the area caught fire and burned, while the trees broke or fell down in the direction of the blast. The Chinsei Middle School, 550 meters from the epicenter. The top floor of this 4-storied reinforced concrete building was smashed, while the entire interior of the building was burned. The Keiho Middle School. This school building is typical of the large wooden construction. It was completely wrecked, but did not catch fire. The Nagasaki Steel and Arms Works of the Mitsubishi Heavy Industries Company, stretching from north to south for 1,000 meters. The greater part of this plant was crushed in the direction of the blast, and its steel frames were greatly twisted. Some 2,500 workers were in the plant at the time of the bombing, including student workers. 200 of them were instantly killed, while some 480 were seriously injured. Urakami Station, north of the Mitsubishi Steel Works, was built of wood and was completely burned down. Practically everyone here was instantly killed. A signboard facing the epicenter was not burned, but a part of the black lettering was scorched by the heat. Sanno Shrine. The first stone torii archway was not knocked down, but half of the next one was blown down, while the other half remained standing in a precarious position. Extremely powerful pressure was applied for a mere fraction of a moment. This stone lantern has been forced out of its original position at the base.